Welcome to the final week of the Ring Fit Kickstart 2.0, and this week I'm giving all of the sessions really stupid pun names. So welcome to the Legstravaganza. So to make this session more interesting, you have the option of supersetting the entire program. This is especially recommended for weight loss and muscle trainees. And speaking of your muscle trainees, I've actually got a new type of session that I've been developing where we're doing 2 of the same move in a row, but we are reducing the reps on each so that the overall total done is more. So it's going to be recruiting more muscle fibers, and therefore that's going to be good for your growth. So pretty cool. Now let's look at that question of the day. What TV shows are you watching at the moment? Anything interesting? I'm personally on Attack on Titan, and I've been rewatching How I Met Your Mother as well, which has been really fun. Also just started watching Code Geass season 1, which has been really cool as well. So yeah, let me know in the comments, and make sure you warm up, get yourselves ready, get your water and towel, and let's smash out our final leg session of the Kickstart. Final week, let's go weight loss trainees. We're supersetting these, so do 2 moves in a row, then rest for up to 60 seconds including menuing, then do the next 2, rinse and repeat. Start with the knee lift and squat to fire the legs up, making sure to keep the core tight throughout to keep that upper body stable before hip lift and treadmill come in. Hip lift gives some great hip extension to counter the flexion of the previous moves, and treadmill makes a great cardio blast mid-session. Ring raise combo and thigh press provide some raised heart rates and give some dedicated work for the adductors. Next is treadmill again, followed straight away by wide squat. This works the abductors for balance against the previous sets. Then we have some core moves to finish with a big leg focus. Overhead lunge twist has you twist from the hips whilst keeping your upper body still, and flutter kick requires you to lift the legs up and down in quick succession. Try to move from the hips to get more core work rather than the quads. Great work, repeat this if needed. Muscle trainees, this session is built around repeated exercises with lower reps to make you do more work in total, increasing the amount of stimulation for the muscle fibers. Start with 2 sets of hip lift, which uses hip extension and really works the glutes. Next is 1 set of knee lift followed by hinge pose. Knee lift is dynamic and fun, whereas hinge pose stretches the hamstrings out. If you prefer a challenge, feel free to sub hinge pose for warrior 3 pose, which uses that hip hinge even better. Next, do 2 sets of wide squat with that wide stance working the core and abductor muscles before a set of mountain climbers. Drive your knee up and keep it nice and smooth. If you do need to change this, knee lift is optional. Do a round of treadmill, trying to stay moving as much as possible throughout before finishing it with 2 sets of knee lift combo. Great work. If you want to exercise more, repeat the playlist or add in some jogging levels or more sets of squat and hip lift. Beginners, let's start the final week off with a great set. Knee lift and side step provide great cardio based leg workouts, priming us for hip lift and squat. Hip lift is one of the best moves in the game and gives some dedicated work for the glutes and hamstrings, which counters the quad/thigh heavy squat well. Play around a thigh rider trying to get a high score before doing some wide squat reps. Keep your stance wider than the standard squat and brace the core to stabilise the upper body. Perform a set of ring raise combo, then go for a round of treadmill. This has you collecting coins and avoiding bombs by running on a treadmill constantly, so just keep it steady, move as much as you can. Get to the floor for seated ring raise, acting as some recovery before open and close leg raise. Keep your upper body still and smoothly move the legs from the hips in and out. The detection for the move isn't great, so just do your best. Great work, everyone. Awesome work, trainees. I know that it's been a pretty tough session and we'll have upped that intensity, but that is the progressive overload coming into play. This means that you're working hard. If you're coping with the work really well, it means you're progressing. So, fit fact of the day, why do we do circuits and supersets? You may have seen that I've been putting them in over the last few weeks, but what are they and why do we do it? There are 3 reasons really. Number 1 is variety. It just makes it a little bit more interesting, okay? And I think that's pretty important. 2 is time. It allows you to do the same amount of work in less time, which is really fantastic because you're cutting out a little bit of the recovery period. It just means that you're going to be working the same amount, but in less time, which is really good. And number 3 is heart rate. Because you've got less recovery time, your heart rate stays at a higher rate, meaning that you burn more calories for the same amount of exercise, which is really cool. This can trigger the epoch effect as well, which is really, really cool. So definitely worth keeping in mind. So if you want to superset stuff, you want to do circuits, it's definitely a good thing to do, especially for you weight loss trainees. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for watching today. Tomorrow we've got another pun-based arm session. I'm really excited for it. It's not quite as good as Legstravaganza, but it's still pretty up there. So yeah, should be good. Let me know if you've got any comments. Let me know what you think of the session so far. And if you're here at the moment, love your work, you're doing amazing. Just a few more sessions and you'll have completed the Kickstart 2.0. Thanks again to all of my fantastic patrons like Rain, I Love Waffles 1311 and Sick Hippie for the fantastic support they give over Patreon. Really appreciate it. I've been Master Trainer Peter. Make sure you like, share and subscribe and all the good stuff. And I'll see you tomorrow.